Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, everyone. This is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited because today I am speaking to a jazz singer, world-renowned Donna Singer, and yes, that's her real name. She has just returned from Paris and singing at Carnegie Hall. Her European tour to Switzerland and Italy were a huge success. Her tour finale took place in New York City with a performance at the Metropolitan Opera Guild Recital Hall in Lincoln Center and Central Park's Naumburg Bandshell. Donna is a graduate of the New York Academy of the Theatrical Arts with formal training at the Juilliard School, and of course, she has kept music close to her heart. She was honored by Straight No Chase, a jazz show, as the Singer of the Year, backed by the Doug Richards Trio, for the Kiss Me Beneath the Mistletoe CD. Last year, she sang the national anthem at Sunrise Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, and she's headlined at the Bethany Jazz Concert in Kansas, Nebraska International Jazz Festival, Saratoga Arts Festival, Newburgh Jazz Series, New York Heritage Festival, the Amphitheater in Vienna, Virginia, and she performed musical series, festivals, clubs, cafes, and fundraising events. And of course, she goes on international tours on a regular basis. So Donna Singer, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Donna, it's really interesting because jazz has been around for a long, long time.
Long time.
Tell me a little bit more. How did you get involved with jazz?
I grew up in a very, very strong jazz family. Not necessarily musicians, but my parents loved listening to jazz and dancing. And my twin sister, Dawn, yes, I have another one, we grew up listening to jazz vocal artists, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, my personal favorite, Dinah Washington. And we were just listening to these albums, and all of a sudden, I started singing them on a regular basis, just in our basement and in our family room. I just started singing them. And my mother says I was singing or humming nursery rhymes at a very young age. I was humming along very quickly at a very young age. So I've been singing a long time. And my father introduced me to all of these wonderful women and men, Billy Eckstein, Sammy Davis Jr., Nat King Cole. And we were introduced to all of them, and they just resonated with me at a very early age. I was singing Mr. Paganini and What a Difference a Day Made at a very young age, and it stuck.
So you started singing and humming even when you were a little tiny girl. So
yes.
What about your formal education? Did you follow that musical dream into formal education?
Yes, I did. I did all of the school musicals and was in chorus and sang solos. And then when I went off to college, I majored in theater education. And then I went to the New York Academy of Theatrical Arts. And I remember in the audition process, they said, no singing. And I thought, well, what kind of an audition is this if I can't do a monologue with singing in it? And I sang a little bit from the tagline, and I did a little singing at the end of my audition. I got in.
How can they say no singing when it's theatrical arts?
I know, a musical. I think it's because they must have thought they'd get all these divas.
And you also went to Juilliard also.
Yes, I went to Juilliard as an adult. After I had graduated from the academy, I faced the real world and took a job and really put music to the background career-wise. And then I auditioned for Juilliard as an adult, and I got in to their night program, and stayed there a couple of years, and just said, "This is what I want to do." And I started working with my husband. I met my husband, I think, the year before I auditioned for Juilliard, and Roy Singer, yep, that's my real name. He's from Kansas and a composer. He really pushed me into, Donna, go audition for Juilliard. I want to train my voice. No more voice coaches, no more just taking lessons here and there. I want to do this. So I auditioned, got in, and then history happened.
Wow. So you got married and you have a son, Christopher. And I understand there's something a little bit unique about Christopher, since his father is a composer and his mother is a singer.
Well, let me first say, Christopher is from, and I'm sorry, I don't mention this because it's so many years back, but Christopher was my first marriage. But the unique thing about Christopher, having grown up with Roy and me, he doesn't sing at all. He can hold a pitch. I've heard him like hum, but when you ask him to sing, he does not sing. And I feel bad. I think that's because of me. But he comes to all my shows, so I'm happy.
Well, sometimes that's more important, to be a biggest fan. So that's a huge thing. So
right, that's huge.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about, since you love music and jazz so much, when you were a kid, do you have any recollection of any concerts that you went to?
Oh, I sure do. I went to two major concerts. One was the Michael Jackson 5 reunion tour, where they just did that, their wonderful stage presence and dancing. And I thought I wanted to be on a stage like that and dance and move and just electrify the audience. But yet I knew deep down this wasn't the stage that I was setting myself up for. I knew even at that concert, I wanted to be on an Ella Fitzgerald stage, but that concert was awesome. And then I went to a Commodore concert, and I was like Lionel Richie, and it was just phenomenal. Once again, lights and acrobats and dancing and singing, but yet somehow I still knew, no, I'm going to be on a jazz stage. That's when I really was like, I want to be on stage. I want to be on stage, but I want to be on a jazz stage.
So when you talk about the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, the Commodores, and then you say, I want to be on a jazz stage, for people like me, I don't have a lot of experience with a jazz stage. What is
What is that? Well, I think of jazz, and I don't know if you've ever heard the expression smooth jazz or laid back jazz. Jazz is not pop and circumstance, pop and like, wow, and beat it. You know, jazz is not that. Jazz is smooth, and jazz is unique, and jazz is thoughtful. Like, I really like the way she interpreted that song. I like that. A jazz stage is when they sit there and they think about what you're doing, not just like, oh wow, I'm really into the lights and the flashing and the dancing, but they're really into the singing and the tonality. And I like what you did with that chord, and I like when you played with the piano. Jazz is thinking, and that's what I wanted. I love when I get a compliment for jazz. I love when someone says, I love the way you did that song, because I know they were thinking about it. They weren't just listening. They were thinking. Did that help?
Yeah, because they're feeling it, and it's moving them to some eternal level. Wow.
Yeah.
Really
Wow.
exciting. So you have traveled the world, literally. You have been around the world singing jazz, and you
Yeah.
have been before huge audiences. Do you have any favorite times when you performed?
Yeah, I do. I love singing in front of large audiences. I was blessed to be in jazz in June at the Nebraska International Jazz Festival. There were about 6,000 people there, and it was phenomenal. The electricity in the air, I mean, you could just feel it. We were all into it. We were all having a great time. But my favorite time is when I'm singing in a little nightclub down in the Village, New York City, and it's just me and the piano, or me and you in the third row, stage right. I like that. I like when I've got one person I know I connected to. I like that a lot. And you just feel that energy in that small room. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful. I love the crowd in Nebraska was amazing. Kansas City, it was about 2,000 people. But when we were in Paris, we were only in front of maybe about 200-300 people. That's it. Very small crowd. And I was like, wow, I'm home. I'm going to sing just to you tonight. It was nice.
That's beautiful. And
Thanks.
You're absolutely right, because when I think of jazz, I do think of it as being a much more intimate type of music that it hits you in the soul level.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's more soulful. So you actually were an artist in residence in Switzerland. What was that? What was that all about?
Okay, an artist in residence means that they pay you. I auditioned, and they pay you to come and study for 3 weeks, jazz and your art. An artist in residence, and you're there at their home. It was a beautiful chalet right in the Swiss Alps. I mean, I opened my window and there were the mountains. It was like insanity. And you studied, yes. And we studied for 3 weeks. And then on top of that, I gave master classes to students for free. They, advertised if anybody wanted to come and have a free vocal lesson with Donna Singer. So I also gave master classes, and wherever level you were in your singing style or career is where I would jump in. So I wouldn't try and make you be something you're not. And then, we had a show at the end of those 3 weeks. Well, because not that I was at a different level or a different stage, because of where I was in my career, they asked me, would I be willing to do more than one show? Because 3 weeks to study for a show that was already put together in New York, you know what I mean? It didn't necessarily have to be 3 weeks. I could put on a show one day after being there. I brought my trio over with me. My Roy Singer came over on piano. Hunter Isbell came over on bass. Bill Fleck came over on trombone. And I was like, and then we had a guest drummer there. And I was like, 3 weeks. Yes, I love being an artist in residence. I love studying my craft. But the reality is I could do more concerts for you. So we ended up going to nursing homes. We ended up going to, a nursery where nuns live. Monastery? I apologize. I can't think of the word. But where nuns live. We did
what they call a place where the nuns are. So
monastery?
It might
no.
be like that.
Okay. So we did a show there. We did a show at the hospital. So I ended up actually doing 7 shows in Switzerland. Then once we were engrossed in artist in residency, we then went over the border to Italy and did a few shows over there. And it was phenomenal. The whole experience was great. So even though I was an artist in residency, studying my craft, studying what I wanted to do with audiences, we ended up doing a lot more shows than most artists because our show was already put together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
It's like you're saying that you brought your trio with you. You brought your team. with you.
Yes.
And so you were ready to go. And so
Yes.
to go tour and provide this jazz experience to people who probably would never have gotten that type of an experience.
Yes, small villages. Some of our shows only had like 30 people in them. It was small villages where we would go. One show was in someone's living room. It was great. It was just great. But it was great being an artist in residency because then we could also work on new material. So my material is very extensive. I'm very fortunate. Not only do I do the great music of Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and so on and so forth, I've also incorporated Tina Turner. I've also incorporated Diana Ross. I was able to bring in artists from another generation in a jazz flavor, but yet still have some fun with it. So the artist in residency was really great. It opened my career tremendously to a whole new light, if that makes sense.
Yes, I really can understand.
Oh, good. Good.
You're blending it. It's just like
yes.
What I do in my world is you take what it would call old school jazz and then blend it to come up with something brand new for today.
Right. Right. And today, this is what people want to hear. Not everybody remembers Ella Fitzgerald and Dinah Washington. And that's okay, because I can introduce you to them, but then I can also bring in artists that you are familiar with and turn that into a fun jazz evening too.
Yes. I really like that. So
yeah.
You recently moved to South Florida from the Catskills?
Yep, from New York. Yeah. The Catskills were an hour and a half from New York City. So I actually worked in New York City and commuted.
Oh, I see. And you worked with the Doug Richards Trio, and you actually created 5 albums with them?
Yes. I met Doug at a small gig, and he just really spoke to me. The bass he played electric bass, not upright bass, because Doug had cancer and his fingernails came off. So he could no longer play the upright bass. So he played the electric bass, which is like a guitar bass. And I had never heard the guitar bass so strong and so perfect in a jazz uniform. I mean, some people are like, oh, that's not true form. That's not true form. It's got to be an upright bass. And all I can say to you is, no, it doesn't. Doug played with Erskine Hawkins of Tuxedo Junction fame. He played with Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. He played with all the greats. And he was one of the greats who lived in the Catskill Mountains. So I just happened to hear him at a club. And I struck up a conversation with him. And he says, well, why don't you come sing a song up on stage? And I said, yeah, I think I will. So I sang Bye Bye Blackbird, Sammy Davis Jr., and the rest was history. He just brought his trio into the studio. We made the albums. And don't get me wrong, we didn't make the albums all in 5 weeks. It was over years of, collaborating and being together. And yeah, we made 5 albums. They charted on the NPR charts, on the college charts, and on Roots Jazz Music Station chart. So this new album that I've come up with, I'm very scared because it's my first album without the Doug Richards Trio. But I'm also excited.
So you, speaking of this new album, what is the name of it?
The name is Set Your Heart Free. And the theme is, it's not about children, but it's the theme, children. And it's one, introducing the younger generation to the newer generation with jazz. And number 2, there are some amazing things happening with our children today that children in one of my songs have to fight to be children, because today's standard is so crazy. We don't really have, I think, a defining definition of what kids can be and who they could be and should be. I mean, I remember when we were over in England, they graduate high school at age 16 and they're in college at age 17. Over here, it's age 18. I mean, the definition is so vast that I felt like we needed to have a theme where children could be heard and that also school shootings. And I mean, that's just something we can't even wrap our brain around. But now we can, because it's become such a norm that I thought, what is going on with our children? We have children being separated from parents. What down at the borders? What's going on with our children? So I just felt I had something to say, and I was actually losing sleep over it. I was like, what's going on with our children? I mean, I have an adult child, and I still worry about him every day. But our children. So the album, I'm not saying it's just about it's children's songs, because it's not. It is a jazz album that the theme is about some of the things that are going on with our children. And some of them are pretty bad, and some of them are inspirational, and some of them are pretty darn great. And we hit upon that. I hope that made sense.
Are the songs, are you a composer, or are these
okay? Very good. People? There are 10 original songs. 3 of them were composed by Oren Levine, and his 3 songs, one touched upon leaving for school, one touches upon a school shooting, and one touches upon just a simple inspirational song. 5 of the songs were written by my husband, composer, voice, singer, with his writing partner, Mitchell Usher. And those songs are complete inspirational songs. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to make it. It's going to be all right. We're going to try. And then the last song was written by Hope London, and hers is What's It Like to Be a Child? And I think you heard me say earlier, sometimes you have to fight to be a child. Sometimes it takes an amazing amount of who knows what to be a child, because you're pulled in so many different directions. So they're all composed by 3 different artists, and I'm the singer on all 10 songs. And my trio is Brad Keller on piano, Rancis Colon on bass, and Adolfo Herrera on drum. And it was mixed and mastered by 2-time Grammy Award winner Antonio Tahan. So we are going to submit it to the Grammys and see what happens.
Well, that's really that's a phenomenal thing. So you're going to submit this new album to the Grammys, and then find out what happens. So when does this CD come out?
May 1st, it hits the magazine stand, which means the magazines and the charts all want 20 to 30 days to review the CD before it hits street. So May 1st, it hits the magazines, and June 1st, it hits the streets, and July 1st, we submit it to the Recording Academy. I've got a plan. I hope the plan works. I really do.
Well, that's really phenomenal, because like you said that it was produced by a 2-time Grammy. Is that
2-time Grammy, Antonio Tahan.
Okay.
He's won an American Grammy and a Latin Grammy.
Okay, so that's pretty phenomenal. And
yeah,
this is your 6th CD, right?
This is my 6th CD. And the first 2, we didn't know enough about the Recording Academy to submit. The second 2 weren't ready. And so this is only going to be my 3rd time submitting a CD. It's all a learning process. I find if you don't really have someone to just tell you, and you have to find everything out on your own, you miss things. And I think this time, I'm telling you, Tammy, I got it. I think I've got it. We've just submitted to the Nielsen ratings for the Billboard charts, and we're submitting to the NPR charts. Like, I really feel like all my ducks are lined in the cows are in a row. They're in a row with I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think I'm all set this time.
Well, it sounds like it. You said that, you've got some phenomenal people are writing your songs.
Yes. Yes.
You have the phenomenal, your trio, and
yes.
that, and you have a 2-time Grammy Award winning producer. So it sounds like you're really on track. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about since you've moved to the West Palm Beach area. What's been going on? You come from New York City, and you're, into Florida, which is a totally different environment, and I imagine New York City, like you said, they have the clubs, they have
yes, I know.
So how has that affected your musical life?
Okay, well, it has been fantastic moving to Florida. I have hooked up with some of the best musicians. I just mentioned 3 on my album that I met by just going to clubs and going to hear jazz throughout the area, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm. And I've been able to introduce myself to many musicians. But what I think you might not know also about me is I sing with an 18-piece big band orchestra, and I sing with an 80-piece concert band. So I've had a phenomenal here in Florida. So I have had a phenomenal opportunity to meet many musicians who, Donna, can you come on this gig with me? Donna, can you come sing on stage with me? Donna, can you? So I have not stopped moving. And because I sing with an 18-piece orchestra, I've been able to really hone in on musicality, tonality, and really get a song across to an audience. Because when you have 18 musicians fighting to be heard and just one little singer in front of them, you better have your chops. I'm telling you. And the same thing when you sing with an 80-piece concert band. These are 80 musicians, and there's just you over on one mic that have got to get the song across. So I find, if anything, Tammy, I've gotten better. I love it here in Florida. Roy loves it in Florida. Our son comes down all the time to visit us because we just love it down here.
Wow, well, that's really phenomenal. I did want to ask you about environment, because obviously we're not able to go out in large groups anymore. Has that affected some of your dates and some of your...
Yes, that has. In fact, all of my dates were canceled as of February 1st. I was supposed to sing in Phoenix, New York City, and Scandinavia. We were to go to Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway. And it was all, no, they weren't canceled. Yes, they were canceled for 2020. But I'm so happy to say all of them have been rescheduled for 2021. So I may not have anything for the rest of the year, because obviously we don't know what's supposed to happen. But for 2021, people have already said to me, you're coming then. So we're going to do Scandinavia in 2021. We're going to go back to New York. I was supposed to do a show at the Alvin Ailey Dance Company Dance Theater. I don't know if you've heard of Alvin Ailey, a wonderful African-American dancer. Well, he has a theater in New York, I think on 59th Street or 57th Street, and we were going to do a show there, and that got canceled. Then I was supposed to do a show in Phoenix. That got canceled. So it's been hard. It's been hard having these shows taken away. But you know what? I've just been focusing on my CD. So maybe it all for a reason.
Right. Here's a question. The other day, I actually read an article about, and I've seen it on TV, where some of these performers are like singing in the bathroom on Facebook Live, or they're giving paid concerts on Zoom or Facebook.
I saw that.
Do you have any plans on maybe getting together with your trio somehow and doing any type of concert, or is that even a possibility?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have not thought about it. I have not found myself in a position where I just have to share. I know a lot of musicians just have to be heard, and I don't feel that way. I also am very busy, so I haven't really thought about doing any concerts with a tip jar. People have asked me what have I been doing, and basically I've been responding to my fans via my Facebook page or on my website. My Facebook page is Donna Singer, at Facebook, please go and become a fan. And my website is www.donna-singer.com. And you're more than welcome to reach me there. And I also am on Twitter and Instagram under Donna Singer. So I've been finding myself actually connecting one-on-one with people I don't know, like you, who have said, Donna, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, how are you? And we start a conversation that way. I'm not saying I won't do a Facebook Live. I'm not saying that. But right now, I don't see that in the future for me.
Oh, that's phenomenal. So as the Grammy nomination gets closer and your CD becomes available, they'll start playing it on the radio,
Yes.
stations, and will people be able to buy it online?
Yes, you'll be able to buy it online and you'll be able to listen to it. Our biggest promoter, I have a contract, is with Pandora, Spotify, and iTunes. And I'm on all of them. All of my albums can be found on all three of those places. And this newest one, like I said, between May 1st and June 1st, they'll start hitting the major distributions. Because with the Grammys, you have to be distributed in order to supply. So I'm excited.
I have a question related to the Grammys. Can your fans make any effect on that Grammy award, or is that an industry award? You know how?
Oh, good question. That's a great question. It's a twofold question. Number one, they cannot. The Recording Academy is a closed group. Okay. I can vote because I'm a voting member of the Recording Academy, but only members can vote. But the fans can help because we are on the Nielsen ratings. We just registered for the Nielsen ratings. I don't know if you ever heard like how many people watched the last series of MASH. 3 million people. Yes. Well, that was the Nielsen ratings. Well, that's it. And so I'm on that. If people buy, because a lot of people are like, Donna, send me your CD. I'm like, but that doesn't help me. If you buy it, even one song, that goes to the Nielsen ratings. And if I'm on the Billboard charts, that obviously gets my name out there. And anything that gets your name out there, people in the Academy will remember. They're just like ordinary people. They are ordinary people. If they've never heard of Donna Singer, why should they vote for her? Oh, I remember. Donna came out in June with that great hit. Destination Jazz.
So it's just like if you're voting on American Idol or The Voice or whatever program, if you're a fan then of Donna Singer and her CD drops and those songs, you want to go buy her album, her CD, or her songs so that it helps you to move up in the Billboard charts, because that's
it exactly.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, because we all know who Lady Gaga is, but I'm sorry, I never heard of Lady Gaga till when she got on the billboards.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Lady Gaga's tune starts going up to #1. Then Donna heard of her. It's really that simple. So we're telling all of our fans and all of our friends, we'll probably start the campaign, because I have an ad coming out in 2 different jazz magazines, and the campaign will be go out and buy the CD, not go out and listen to her, or you can find her. But the big campaign push will be, if you buy the CD, that'll get me name recognition in the world, and hopefully that'll help Bruno Mars the same way.
Well, the beautiful thing about your name, Donna Singer, is that you can remember. And I think that is important for people who love music or love their artists or love their singers. You do have to show that you love them by buying the music from a reputable site. And because that's one thing people forget. You know, we come from a world where everybody thinks everything is free, and they download things. But the truth is if you actually buy the music, it shows these
that's it exactly,
and is legitimate, and that their popularity is real and true. And that's really important, because in this time you can't go out and do these live events and concerts. So the only way for your fans to show you how much they love you is to actually buy your music and share it in that way by saying, hey, go buy Donna Singer's latest CD. And I'm excited for when everything opens up again, especially the fact when you'll be able to go and do all these live concerts. And
that's it. Yeah. And there's many opportunities to hear me for free. There's many opportunities because one of the things I do, I have a specific agent that all she does is find me fundraisers to do.
Yes.
That's all she does. And I perform for free. And it's for either a fundraiser or an awareness or for this radio program or for that. So you can always just go to my website where I'll always put whether it's a private event, whether it's a public event, whether it's a free event or a paying event. You can always find it on donna-singer.com where you can find me. And if you don't have the funds, no problem. I will tell you on my website where I am for free.
Great. And you have done other interviews in the past, and I think I found some of your music on your website, some songs that were on SoundCloud. And
yes,
button and you play the song and it's right there. So
it's right there.
Congratulations, Donna.
Tammy, tell them about our collaboration.
Our collaboration. Oh, okay.
With the book. I'm so excited about it, but I don't want to tell it because I'll say it wrong. Tell them what we're doing. I'm so excited.
Donna, this interview, everyone, is actually part of Donna Singer's expert profile. She's going to be in volume 11 of Expert Profiles that comes out May 1st. So the beautiful thing about this is Donna's interview chapter in the book will be coming out May 1st, just when her new album drops. So you'll be able to read about Donna and read this interview in a conversation with Donna Singer in Expert Profiles. So that book will come out. And so you'll be seeing a lot more about Donna Singer in the next few months. And again, I really think it's important, again, if you love Donna Singer's music, support the CDs and go back and take a look at the first 5 CDs that she did, because I was looking through the show notes and she's really done a lot of phenomenal work.
Thank you.
All of these, like Feeling the Jazz, It's an Art to Follow Your Heart are just some of the titles. And so there's a lot that you can look at. And again, if you love jazz and you like that, the vocal, the soul connection, I guess is a good way to put it, you definitely are going to love Donna Singer. So Donna, before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I would. And I'm going to find it right now that working with Tammy, collaborating on this book has just been a thrill for me. It really has. But what I wanted to say was, hold on, Tammy, I'm sorry. I had it, but then I lost it. Here it is. I also was a collaborator on another book with Miss Lori Hunter with Single Parents, Today's Superheroes. And what I started to touch upon, Tammy, was that Roy is obviously Christopher's stepfather, and when I was younger, Christopher's father, who's not out of the picture, but he's out of my picture. I was a single parent for I can't even remember how long it was, and my story is in that collaboration as well. So I'm very excited about this new turn and of writing and just being heard. I guess that's the best way I could say it. I really am. I love that I'm being heard in this great new format, and I'm honored, Tammy, that you want me to be in your book, and that this interview will be in the book as well. So I guess that was the only other thing I just wanted to say. There's more to me that meets the eye. And thank you for inviting me on the show and giving me an opportunity to talk with you.
Well, I'm really pleased that you've been here, Donna. So everyone, we've been speaking with powerhouse performer Donna Singer, and she has wowed jazz lovers around the world. So watch for Donna's latest CD that's going to come out in May, between May and June. Watch for the Expert Profiles book, and definitely go to donna-singer.com and listen to some of Donna's work, and you'll really get an understanding of what jazz is all about. So everyone, this is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a beautiful day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.